Thank you, Nora. Our second student speaker is Mr. Jason Sanders. Jason is a graduate of St. Norbert College. After college, he spent 5 years on the Lac Courte Oreilles Reservation teaching at a tribal college and coaching high school basketball. During law school, he was a note and comment editor of the Wisconsin Law Review and president of the Indigenous Law Students Association. Jason won the 2013 William Herbert Page Award for the best student article on a topic specific to Wisconsin, published in the Wisconsin Law Review, and the Stuart Macaulay Award for excellence and leadership in contract law. You should know that these descriptions are written not by me, but by the speakers. He wants me to say that he is eternally thankful for his family and friends, without whom he certainly would not be graduating today. Please join me in welcoming Jason Sanders.
Can you see me all right? Friends, families, faculty, acquaintances who nod politely in the hallway, I'm very grateful to be here today. We're especially grateful as a class that our families can be here, and not just to share in this day with us, but because after 3 years of missed calls, of panic attacks, of hearing about the thousands of pages that we read, you have probably thought to yourself, my child is becoming a crazy person. And you're right. So welcome to the world's largest support group. We're especially grateful that you get to meet our faculty who have been so important to us. They taught us how to think like a lawyer. What that means is, you know how we came to law school and then all of a sudden we're incapable of listening to anything you say without arguing the other side for no reason whatsoever? Totally their fault. We learned a lot here. For instance, 3 years ago, when a friend told me about someone adding insults to her injury, I couldn't think of what to say other than offer sympathy, like a normal human being. But now I know to ask, did you document the injury? Was the insult false or defamatory in any way? And now they won't talk to me. Thanks, law school. Moreover, law school brought a new class of people, great new friends, and it cemented the most important and stable relationship of our lives with a partner who's always there for us. Thanks, Netflix. Now, I'm clearly having a lot of fun up here, but notice that every one of these jokes is still hinging on gratitude, on saying thank you, because gratitude is the most essential of all human emotions, and I learned that in the weirdest way. When my son was 2 years old, I was playing with him in my living room, and I turned to him and I said, I love you, O. And he looked at me with a focus that you rarely see in people who are still figuring out how to put poop in toilets. And he said, you're welcome, Daddy. Aw, see the face. And I laughed at first, but then I thought about it later because I was a humanities major, and we do that. We just haven't figured out how to get paid for it yet. And I realized that made total sense. Because what can I love you even mean if it doesn't begin by meaning thank you for being you and for being next to me? A great preacher once said, if the only prayer you ever say is thank you, that'll be enough. That might have been Oprah. I can't remember. And we're here today to celebrate the fact that we are here today, and we should, because law school was hard and we've earned it. But we must also remember that we should be awash in a sea of gratitude. Thank you, parents, for all the support it took to get us to and through this place. Thank you to the faculty members who went out of their way to get to know us, who invited us into their homes, who sat and listened compassionately to our problems despite the fact that our problems weren't that big. And they're very busy people with 116 children, not to name anyone in particular, Professor Klingel. We're glad you're back. But that's really just scratching the surface, because what about the siblings, both the ones that we got by blood and the ones that we adopted along the way? What about the love and the support and the sacrifices of grandparents? What about that teacher in high school or that professor in college who saw something special in us and helped us see it in ourselves? What about pioneers in civil rights and women's rights? What about everyone who ever died to win a world war or a civil war? What about an ancestor who came here with nothing but the willingness to fight relentlessly for a dream that he or she would never realize? A million things had to happen to get us here today, and we were owed none of them. They were given. They were given. Sorry, I got overwhelmed by myself. The Spirit entered into me. The challenge and the call of our life going forward is not only to really recognize and live with that gratitude, but to turn it into a reason to make it worthwhile for all of those people's gifts. Our job is to live a life that someone else can be thankful for one day. Now, let's somebody out, because law school is like fine wine. It's outrageously expensive, and everybody who says they enjoy it doesn't really know what they're talking about. But like wine, it doesn't really matter if you're with the right people. And so we should be grateful to each other, because somebody next to you changed your mind or paid you a compliment you are never going to forget, or will be your friend for the rest of your life, or left an indelible mark upon your heart, and none of that was owed either. It was all given. Our best memories of each other will outlive our careers, and our best connections with each other will outlast the longest unit of time known to modern mathematics, student loan repayments. And so we should close today by saying the words that we're going to leave unsaid in too many handshakes and hugs that linger on this weekend. The things we hope we might be able to articulate in tearful goodbyes to the best of friends, and that is this: I'm so glad I went through this with you, that even though I'm ecstatic that it's over, I sort of wish it weren't, because then we'd have a little bit more time together. Thank you for working with me, for laughing with me, for loving me, even if not forever. Thank you, above all else, for being you and for being next to me. And then we'll part, get on our planes and in our cars and off to separate lives, challenged to live a life somebody else can be grateful for. But if the only reason we ever have is thank you, that'll be enough. Congratulations, and thank you to everybody for listening.